everyone, Ms Ryanne here. I'm going to be doing our first step lesson today. It's understanding young children. While I'm talking, feel free to ask questions or make comments, and I have Miss Kat here and she'll be telling me what you're saying because I can't see. So when we talk about young children, our kids are individuals, and every kid in every family is different. So your firstborn is going to act different than your baby, and your boy will act different from your girl. They'll have different temperaments. So some kids are really easygoing, and some kids are stubborn. Some kids are rule followers, and others are wild childs. So keep in mind that you kind of have to parent to their different temperaments, and know that one thing works for one kid, and other things don't work for others. Also, our kids' rate of developments are really different. Your firstborn child might walk right away, and
Tracy
at
Taylor
1 year.
says hello.
Hi, Tracy. Your firstborn might walk right at a year, and your secondborn might not walk till 18 months, and that's okay. Every kid is different, and they have their own way of developing. If you're ever worried about your child and that they may be slower than a normal rate of development, you can always talk to your doctor. You can get them screened. We can put up a link to having your kids screened by U of A in the comments after we're done with the video. Also, style of development is different for all kids. There are kids who want to do everything themselves the first time and want no help. And then there's others who want to be babied and want you to spoon feed them until they're 2. So keep in mind that all of your kids are a little bit different, and cater to their style. Stages of development. Babies are learning how to trust adults. When they cry, they're learning that you will feed them or change their diaper. They're learning to get to know about themselves. So they're finding their toes, they're finding their voice, they're rolling around, they're trying to walk. They also are trusting the world around them, that when they grip on the coffee table, they know they can hold themselves up. And when they fall on the floor, sometimes it hurts their butt. Toddlers, which is 18 months to 36 months, are learning self-reliance. So sometimes it's really hard when our 2-year-old wants to feed themselves or put on their own clothes or clean up a mess because it takes a long time or they don't do a great job, but they're learning self-reliance with that. They're learning to do things on their own, and that's going to make them better adults. They're also learning ownership. Sometimes it's really hard when you have multiple kids and your toddler is saying, "Mine! Mine!" or stealing toys away from other children, but they're learning ownership, that this is my toy, it belongs to me, or if you're ever in fun day class and you have the same toy at home, that's my toy, it's at my house, so then it is mine. They also learn about fear and safety. 2 years is about when kids start developing stranger danger and fear of strangers. And that's okay. So we want to just reassure kids that we will be coming back to them, that we will be there for them, and that they can safely see and interact with other people with having us still there. They're also learning self-control. A caveat to this is that self-control takes another, 10 or 15 years to develop, so don't expect your toddler to have great self-control. Yes.
Leanne says she misses you.
Aw, I miss you too, Leanne.
And
I want to
Ash-
see Hale, and I want to see him with a mullet.
Ash asks if 12 months is still considered a baby.
So, yes, it kind of depends on, there's a couple different schools of thought, whether it hits at 12 for a baby or 18 months. If your child is walking, they're considered a toddler. So it kind of depends on which method you go through to find out if they're a baby or a toddler. I always called mine after a year a toddler, but some people wait until 18 months. Okay, preschoolers are 3 to 5. Preschoolers are creative. You're going to see your preschooler doing a lot of imaginative play. They're going to be making up their own games and making up their own fun things to do. They might have an imaginary friend. They might make up crazy rules to different scenarios. They're super creative. Preschoolers really need friends. Toddlers get a lot of their love and support from family members, but preschoolers are learning so many things from others at this point. So they need to be social, they need to go out and see friends, they need to be able to understand how to act socially with other people. So when you have your preschooler out with other kids, as long as no one's getting hurt, let them kind of settle their differences with each other. Let them work things out, because that's what they need for skills as an adult. So the next two things I'm going to talk about are power of expectations and beliefs and behavior. We project what we want to our children, and sometimes that's great. Like, I think my kids are the best thing ever. I think they're smart and beautiful and wonderful and kind, and they live up to those expectations. I've seen kids whose parents are like, they're such a brat, they're so needy, they're dramatic, and those kids live up to those expectations. So our beliefs in our kids create their beliefs about themselves. So what you're projecting onto your children will affect them, how they act, and affect them as adults. So as you're talking to your kids, have positive expectations about them, that they can do this, that they can walk and read and play and be kind and loving, and your kids will meet your expectations. But if you're calling them a brat, or you're saying they're annoying, which we all know sometimes can happen, your kids will own that expectation and they'll continue to do that. Parental stress. This is something that I really want to talk about. With the coronavirus and we're all stuck at home with our kids, it's been causing a lot of parental stress. It's hard to get a break from our kids. It's hard to have self-care, especially when everything's closed and you can't, like, go to Starbucks or get a manicure or go to the movies by yourself. So at this time when there's so much stress coming on parents, try to figure out a way to do something for yourself, to leave the situation if your kids are bugging you, to keep from snapping at them or yelling at them. And it's hard. It's hard when you're with anyone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If your husband or spouse or wife are home and they're not leaving the house either, it can be a lot of people in one house. And so take time for yourself, let your kids take time for themselves, and give each other a break a little bit, because the more stressed you are, the more you're going to snap at your kids, the more you're going to yell at your kids. And there has been an increase recently in child abuse cases because parents are so stressed out. They're worried about what's going to happen. They're worried if they're going to have enough food or toilet paper, if they're going to have their job, if they're going to be able to pay their bills. So this is a very big concern right now. And if you need help, reach out to someone. I will say that if you're in my area and you need me to watch your kid for a little bit because you're about to lose it, I gladly will. If you're not in my area, then I will refer you to someone who can help you. So keep that in mind, that if you're having a hard time, reach out to someone, anyone. One thing our kids do is say no all the time. Kids are always constantly, no, I don't want to do that. But the reason they say no so much is because we as parents say no a ton. It's so much easier when your kid asks for a cookie to say no and move on, instead of saying, yes, you can have a cookie after dinner, or I bet a cookie sounds amazing, but we have to eat our vegetables first. The more you say yes and the less you say no, the better your relationship with your child will be, and the less they'll say no to you. Right now we have a great opportunity being home with our kids to play with them. That there will never be a time in our lives where we'll be so connected with our kids because we can't go anywhere and we can't do anything else. So this is the time to play with your kids. No one's coming over to your house. Nothing needs to be perfectly clean. You don't have to run out to the store. So make sure you're spending this time with your kids, that you're playing with them, because that's how children learn. That is their job, is to play. And they need you to play with them. You need to sit down on the ground, get to their level, roll around with them, make funny voices with characters with them. Play is so, so important to their development. Also, when kids are stressed, and they're definitely stressed in this time as well, playing helps. I read this amazing quote that said, kids don't say, I've had a hard day. Kids say, will you play with me? And that's totally true. Our kids get out their feelings through play. So sometimes your kids will have two dolls, and you'll hear them talking, and they'll be like, I hate not being able to go out. I miss going to the zoo. I know, it's hard. This is weird. And they're trying to get out their feelings through play. So make sure you're letting your kids vent their problems, that you're letting them feel what they're feeling, and make sure you're playing with them. I have never played so many board games in my life as I did this week. It's amazing. Kind of annoying though too, because they're for preschoolers. Think about your parenting style as a parent. There are 3 basic parenting styles. Authoritarian, which it means do what I say and do it now. There's no room for question, there's no room for choices. I am the parent, I am the boss, and you just do what I say. There's permissive, which means do what you want. I'm your friend, we'll hang out. You want to eat 10 cookies for breakfast? That's cool. You don't want to ever clean up your room or do chores? That's fine. And then there's democratic, which is freedom within limits. So you give your kids choices. You say, you can have a cookie when this is done, or you can choose a cookie after lunch or after dinner. Freedom within limits means that you're giving kids freedom to make choices and to make decisions, but there's also limits on that. Kids don't get to do whatever they want whenever they want. And your goal is to be a democratic parent, because that you need to give choices because all of us as adults have choices, and you need to give limits because all of us as adults have limits. So your kids have freedom to become who they need to be, but you're also keeping them safe and giving them boundaries. Any other questions? I'm looking to Kat. She's reading away.
No, just some comments. Tracy did say, Ryan, come watch my kids.
Okay, I will. I love your children. I'll watch them. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our live video. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to ask them. If you're watching this later, I will be on Facebook later and can respond to anything that you say. I hope you have a good week. This is my first day putting on makeup and getting out of the house in a week, so I'm really excited to be here, and I'm hoping to do another lesson with you soon. Bye, guys!